So I'm walking through Capitol State Forest, about probably 10-15 miles south of Olympia, through, this is called the Chameleon timber sale. I'm planning to clear cut this forest this summer, so pretty soon everything you see around me will be gone, including this nice little hiking trail. The first thing you notice about this forest is that it's got some really big trees in it. Some of these trees are really close to 4 feet in diameter, and there are very few trees that size left in Capitol State Forest, and there's really no reason to be cutting these down. This DNR's got thousands of acres of younger forests that they could be cutting that they're not, because they want to liquidate these stands while they can before someone thinks of some other reason why they should be protected, apparently. So, but we'd like to see them saved. Another thing you notice when you get out here and walk through a forest like this is that it's got a very lush and diverse understory. And you can see patches of vine maple, red huckleberry, sword fern, red elderberry, salmonberry. There's places where there are cedars emerging through gaps where older trees have fallen down. And this is pretty characteristic of these older, more mature patches of forest, is they have a lot of gaps and a lot of different plant communities growing right next to each other. And you just don't see that very often in the younger stands. So I want to show you something. If you can veer off trail here for a bit. This is what they call a legacy tree. It's an old broken off tree trunk. The reason that these old snags are important is that if you split one of these open and you comb through it, you would find hundreds of species of invertebrates and fungi and all kinds of little creatures living inside of these things. They take all of this stuff out. This tree was here probably 300 years ago, depending on how old it was when it was probably most likely struck by lightning. So we really don't know what we're losing when we cut a stand like this down. The reason why we want to preserve these forests is that there just aren't very many stands like this left in southwestern Washington. Most of the forests now are managed as industrial forest lands, which means they're planted with commercially desirable species, mostly Doug fir, and harvested on a 40 to 50 year rotation, whereas this stand just grew back on its own. It was cut back in the 1920s, probably 1930s, back when they were working with not much more than hand saws and steam engines, and so they left a lot behind. A lot of young trees, a lot of shrubbery, a lot of herbs, wildflowers, and in the process a lot of wildlife that would normally get extirpated during a modern logging operation.